want to, start us off with a clap?
All right.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to ByteSized Talks. Gary's feeling a little nervous today. I don't know why, but how's it going, Gary?
Busy day, man. Busy day. I had some work things that just kind of snowballed at the end, and just trying to figure out how to, concisely say what I've been working on for like the last couple of weeks in like 2 or 3 slides that I only get like 3 minutes to talk about. So it's kind of just a little stressful. I'm just like making these small, tiny adjustments that probably won't even be noticed. So, welcome back, everybody, to BS Talks or ByteSized Talks. We want to be a little bit more formal. My name's Gary, aka Hempy. On the other side of the screen, we got Julian. Say what's up, man.
Hey, everybody, it's Julian or Jupe. Hope everybody's doing well. We're going to be having some interesting topics today. What are you having today, Gary?
All right, so we have just a couple little stories that I saw online. One about this dude who was like wrongfully evicted, like in the worst possible way. Then we'll also circle back to this concept that we kind of overlooked about Tesla's marketing. We've talked about it on separate occasions, but just never on here.
Yeah.
And then by popular request, movie reviews. So I went out and watched a couple this week. I forced myself, twisting my arm.
Yeah,
to go
I'm sure you did. It's not like you haven't been going for like the past couple of years or so for every week.
But, I went yesterday to strictly watch Equalizer 3 because it's coming out this weekend. So,
okay.
Give me credit for that. But yeah, the story starting out was this guy. He was living in Dallas. I don't know what the rents are out there, but he was paying $2,500 a month. Never missed a payment. Wasn't late or anything. Comes home to find his entire apartment had been gutted out.
God damn.
Guess why?
I don't know. Somebody was living there. Wasn't supposed to live there. What was going on?
Paperwork mistake. They were supposed to evict somebody else in the apartment building, and they sent him home. They just went into this guy's house. They didn't even put it into a storage unit. They just literally bagged it up, threw it in the trash can, threw it in the dumpsters, left it in the hallway. So he said half of his stuff that he had was just stolen, taken by other tenants, just kind of seeing it there. Which I hope they're man, maybe we should give them these shoes back, or whatever they happen to take that were got thrown out, or but then even his bed, they brought his bed out, and someone just for whatever reason took a piss on it.
Just to have fun. I'm gonna take a piss on this.
Yeah. And he's like, well, they got it professionally cleaned, and I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, dude, you're down. Yeah, no, yeah. You guys are buying a new mattress. There is no recovering that. Rent. One thing is if it's your own, right? At some point we've all been there, But a random person, oh, dude, that's disgusting. Normally for that experience, we pay a couple $100 to sleep in a hotel where we have no idea who was sleeping in that bed before us, but somehow it's something that you would nobody would buy a used mattress, right? That's not something people think about, but we all go to hotel rooms. Oh yeah, I used to think it was such a fancy thing, going to a hotel as a kid, and now I'm like, oh, it's kind of gross.
Dude, who knows what's happening in those hotels? God damn.
Yeah. But so the apartment manager complex, the company, he said at first they're very apologetic. They're like, we're going to make this right. We're just going to keep working with you. And then upon a closer look at their paperwork, they're like, well, technically, sir, you shouldn't have been living here. We released the apartment to this woman. She no longer lives here. He's like, no, that was my ex-girlfriend. She moved out of the state, so I started subletting it from her. Well, you guys didn't do that. You didn't file any paperwork with us, so really, you shouldn't have been here. So if you shouldn't have been here, your stuff shouldn't have been here. And so like, yeah, we should have like evicted you like a while back. And so like they were trying to like um uh get out of paying the damages and making it right. So this guy
No,
like he
no, hold on. Now, did they actually confuse the apartment, or did the ex girlfriend do this on purpose? Is a good question.
I would think if it was the ex-girlfriend being vindictive, she would have done it right away. Like
Maybe,
I
but
think
let's
he
say
said
let's say it was a while, and then all of a sudden, oh, you know what? He's bringing a girl around. He's no longer going to live there. Let's kick him out, and then we'll say
I
it's
don't
an
know.
accident.
I think you'd have to be pretty twisted. But like one, like they like that didn't come out. I think that would have been something. Uh,
Yeah.
there plus the guy had a little girl. I don't know if it was a daughter of
Oh
said ex
shit.
girlfriend, but I think even then, like I think a woman,
Yeah.
I think somebody would have a hard time kicking their ex out knowing they have a small child. So
Yeah, especially if it's their daughter. I mean, if
yeah,
it was a
like
daughter, that's mean.
oh yeah, if it's their daughter, like there's no way, like
Yeah.
right. Um, so yeah, I just saw that I was like, dude, that's kind of like I would be so pissed.
Yeah.
Like if I came home and like everything was thrown out of my house,
Oh
man,
yeah.
I had to bring all this shit back in.
What her shit is left after all that.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I just thought that was a quick little stupid, interesting story. Um, then did you watch this week's Flagrant with
No, I didn't.
Logan Paul, Logan Paul, the older brother?
No, I haven't seen it.
You know, I've seen him on a couple podcasts, and like I saw him when he was on Bobby Lee's Tiger Belly. I
Yeah.
think that's what it's called. And I've seen a couple of what's his impulsive? Is that
Impulsive.
his?
Yeah, it's his
Yeah.
podcast.
I've seen a couple of that, and like it's not like impulsive wasn't bad. Like it just I think it has like a weird flow to it.
Yeah.
And but like because I think sometimes things get a little like forced.
Okay.
And like it happened on the Tiger Belly podcast. He's like, oh, we need the clickbait, like we need that
Oh
viral
shit.
clip, like we
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah.
And the like okay, like and so Bobby Lee's ex girlfriend starts asking him like, do you think you could beat up this celebrity, you know? And then they asked about Joe Rogan because you know Joe knows all sorts of martial arts, and he's like, "Oh, I would kick his ass." Like that's the clip. That's the clip. Like so, I think like he goes into these like with we need to make something happen,
Yeah.
you know. But I get it because like he is YouTube in a sense. Like
Yeah.
he's been a part of on these streaming platforms forever. I don't know if you remember when YouTube made that one video about like this dystopian future to where like kids in high school had to take an exam, and in order to live, you had to get a certain grade.
Oh shit.
Remember?
No, I did not watch that.
Yeah, it was about like this, like in the future,
Yeah.
kids like they're just like killing off dumb people, like essentially. Like I guess like maybe like it was like a scarcity thing. But kids like their senior year would take this exam, and if you didn't get higher than a certain grade, um, you were marked for death. Like you'd get
Oh
like
shit.
yeah. So they
You
gave
know what that sounds like? I don't know if you ever saw the history of how the IQ test was made.
no, but we're talking about Veritasium's video.
Yeah, Veritassin's video to where the US started using the IQ exam to kind of mark people who were dumb and weren't deserving to essentially breed. And they started chemically castrating them. This sounds very similar to that.
Well, I mean, they went beyond just castration. uh, but yeah, in that movie, like he sees that like he did something to where like he realized it was kind of rigged because
Yeah.
like he was dating this girl that I want to say this is the story. He was dating this girl that his parents didn't like because she was from like one of the like the straggler families, you know, who had to like, you know, like because some people just had like they had tutors and all this other stuff,
Yeah.
and I think like he purposely failed the test
Oh
to get
shit.
back at his dad because his dad was like the governor, like the person who developed this program, and
Yeah.
then he realized like wait, how did I survive? And so like and his girlfriend was marked for death,
Oh
and so like
damn.
he like goes in, breaks into like to show the real test results, and yeah, it's kind of wild because like there was like the hot chick who like went and like banged her teacher, and he's like, oh yeah, you'll definitely you'll
You'll
definitely
pass.
live. Yeah, and like she didn't.
That's
But
fucked up.
yeah. um, but yeah, he was on Flagrant with Andrew Schultz's podcast, and uh, it got really, really touchy feely. Like Schultz went like it was like it got awkward at times. Like
Yeah.
it ends with them trying to get Logan Paul to take his shirt off, and then like the Akash wasn't on it, but the other three, Schultz and the other two guys, like get up and like they chased Logan Paul off the set. Like, it got weird. It was a weird ending. Um, but in that, they're talking about Logan Paul's company Prime,
Oh yeah.
and it was weird because he's like, "If I tell you how much I make, will you beep it out?" Like, I was like, yeah. So like, he was telling like information about like how much he's either paying these teams or the people they sponsor for Prime to be
Yeah.
Prime athletes, but they like he wasn't putting any of that out there.
Oh
But
shit.
I was like, why wouldn't you just wait a couple minutes to have that conversation off air? Or
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just like seemed again kind of clickbaity. Um, but it was interesting. He brought like this huge can of Prime, like
Yeah.
um, size of like a really big like thermos or something, like something that could like a big water bottle, like insulated water bottle, like that like a construction worker would bring,
Yeah.
Um, and he was saying that has the same amount of calories as a normal Red Bull.
What?
Now it might be
Well,
that Red Bull uses sugar and they're using
yeah.
artificial sweeteners,
Yeah,
so
stevia or something. It makes
yeah.
sense.
But he would like he alluded to, and then Schultz said it because he wanted a degree of separation that potentially it was lobbyists
Yeah.
going against them to try to get Prime, uh, just get some bad media about it being like either too sweet or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but it was really interesting, but because he's like, we don't have commercials. We're trying to do the Tesla model where we just let spokespeople put it out there and plug it. Like we let the product move it. We don't have to spend millions and millions of dollars on a marketing team, millions and millions of dollars making commercials. Like people buy it because they follow certain people.
Well,
So
that and I mean, Paul is a huge internet star. He doesn't
yeah,
really need to do any or much marketing at all. You just have to keep showing it and showing it in his videos, and millions of people are going to watch it at that point.
yeah. But but getting back to like what we talked about in the episode 2, uh, if I gave you a lineup of 5 dudes, you couldn't tell me who is the Ford CEO,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
but we know who the CEO of Tesla is, right?
Yeah.
We know it's Elon, and the fact that we know that, and so like people who are plugged in at all know who runs Tesla, what Tesla is, what their vehicles. So, uh, but they never run a commercial. You do not see Tesla commercials online. So
There was a clip of Elon talking about that to where in the news they were saying all kinds of bad stuff about Tesla, but nobody really read what they were talking about. And so as they were talking about Tesla in each news and all that, people just started buying Teslas. So the more they ran bad stories, the more they were buying Teslas. So he says, you know what, it works for me. Keep writing about me. It's just selling more
yeah,
cars.
so yeah, that was just something that we talked about the other way Tesla has kind of started challenging the market, but we didn't talk about the marketing at all. So it was
Yeah.
interesting that when it was brought up about Logan Paul talking about his energy drink company, that like they alluded to that was the model they're actively using. I was like, oh, that's actually pretty
Yeah.
ingenious.
It is. I mean, it's the new way to do it now with marketing. It's just social media and having people share your stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So share our videos, please. That's what we need.
Dude, I looked at her TikTok analytics.
Yeah.
uh, our numbers are worse than New Mexico Tech's like gender numbers. Like we're like at 89% male from the age of like 24 to 35. Like,
That sounds about right.
yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Um, all right. So the big topic we got today is the movie review. So
So you
the
said which movies did you watch?
so first one we'll talk about it was called the Demeter, um, and that's a Dracula. Like it's a spinoff on like how Dracula left, like I think what Romania to
I
get
think
to like
so, yeah.
London. Like I think that's like where the origin story was. I've never actually read a Dracula book,
Me
um,
neither.
and I don't know. I mean, there's like an interesting one where this guy like uh used the power of like Dracula. Like you got to like use like if you have it for 24 hours and you don't feed like or like
Oh
72
shit.
hours,
Yeah.
like you get the powers of Dracula, but you have to fight the urge to feed in order to not develop the curse.
Yeah.
Uh, but like he ends up like doing it to like ransack this army. Um, I forget what it was called, but it was like it was actually pretty good. Probably came out about 10 years ago. I know it's on
Okay.
Netflix right now. Uh, but yeah, the Demeter. It's a Dracula movie that takes place at sea. So it's a like a
At sea?
old yeah at sea. So it's like a old like cargo ship prior to steam engines,
Oh, okay.
uh, leaving a port, going to London, and Dracula was like stored away in this huge crate. And then once they leave the port and they're away from land, he comes out and slowly starts like, killing things and getting his powers and um not a terrible movie, but just not good. They kind of set
Okay.
it up for at the end, like it's a kind of a dot 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 to be continued. Like there was no official thing like
Makes
that, but
sense.
it
Yeah.
was one of those things like if it is successful enough, they would make there's easily enough runway to make a follow up to it. But I wouldn't rush out to go see it. I give it like 4.5 out of 10. Um, wasn't bad or corny. It just wasn't good. Um, and uh, the other movie I watched was The Equalizer. Are you familiar
I've
with that at all?
seen clips of those movies. I've honestly been wanting to watch it, but never really got into it.
Yeah, so it's similar to along the lines like a lot of movies, like something like Taken, or even like
Yeah.
John Wick, to like the guy who was a badass in a former life doing something.
Yeah.
This one, I'm not gonna hold back on spoilers from the first two,
I
but
mean, yeah.
yeah, you know, they've been out for like 10 years now. So it's Denzel Washington. He's a ex CIA super spy, and he has this thing to where he always has his watch, and he's like, 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds to make up. You're gonna die right now.
I
Oh,
always
if you
wondered
do,
why they showed that.
yeah,
Just
and
like he gives them time to repent for their sins or whatever it is.
and it also because like he's like a multi-dimensional thinker, and like he's
Oh,
examining
I
the
see.
space and the layout, and it's like it's going to take me 3 steps to go grab that thing to punch this guy in the throat, and then it's going to be 5 seconds after that, and I'm going to take that guy's gun, shoot that guy 18 times, you know reload halfway in between there, like it's just like
Yeah.
or and he's like, and it's like he's too in this one, he's like too smart. He's like he's a foot too close. It's like, so he gets like a little like it's one of those things where he gets too much to where like um he goes like he's challenging like the main villain of the movie. And there's always a scene to where like everybody else has a gun, he doesn't, and like he like does something like either some like pressure point thing, or to prevent them from shooting him. But it's
Okay.
like somebody which like you're not. It's not like you have there's something hostage or there's
Yeah.
like they why wouldn't they just kill you? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it
It's true.
doesn't make sense. Like it's kind of like imagine in the scene in Batman: The Dark Knight when the Joker's talking to all the villains, or all like the mob bosses, and
Yeah.
and he doesn't have the grenade on the string. You
Oh
know,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
imagine if he just went in there with no gun to talk to him. Like he doesn't walk out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like this
Definitely.
guy goes into stuff like that and he doesn't have a bomb, or like the house wired. Like so, just like if you like the first two, you'll enjoy the third one. But like one dude clapped at the end of the movie.
Were you in the movie? Is that what happened?
Like I didn't clap, but like one dude like clapped, and I was like, like it's one of those things. Like I don't know if you watched the latest John Wick. Have you watched the last
Haven't watched those either.
at all? Any of them?
Any of them.
Okay, this podcast is over. Not just the episode, just over. I can't work with somebody who's this ignorant.
I mainly watch science fiction movies. That's what it is. Like a
And
giant camera.
and
An anime.
okay, covered on it's on your shirt. Like
This is not anime. What are you talking about?
it has a cartoon cat with letters on its head. That's pretty close.
I was actually watching an anime about obviously some guys that fight fire and people turn into fire and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's generic anime and everything. But the thing that caught my attention was the sound effects and like the deep the deep sounds when they're in the fighting scenes. That's what caught my attention.
What do you mean by give us an example of a deep sound?
No, I can't do that deep sound.
No. You made me sing on the first one.
Boom. That's what it does. Boom.
Lame. But anyways, Equalizer 3, 6 out of 10. Not good, not great. If you enjoyed the second one, you'll probably enjoy this one. It's very much the same pace.
Fire Force, by the way, that's what it's called.
Fire Force.
Really good anime. Yes.
I'll take your word for it. I can't get into that stuff. But a quick little caveat, as you would call it, but caveat to the rest of the world.
God, I can't believe that thing wasn't a test, dude. My God. It cost me a question in a test because I didn't know what the fuck caveat was.
He was a senior in an engineering senior engineer taking like a 400 level class, and the teacher on this test where I think it was a fluid dynamics.
No, it was biomimicry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that it had to do something with mechanics like wings and stuff.
Yeah.
But the question was like, what are the caveats of flight or of something? And he went up to the teacher and was like, what's this word? And she's like, just figure it out. Like, I think she didn't tell you that it was caveats, right?
No, she didn't tell me. I didn't know until I went back to the house and asked you.
Yeah, I was like, what's this word chavettes mean? And I was like, what?
That was terrible.
But when I was in high school, dude, we had a house that had a little small basketball court in the backyard. Like, it was perfect for 1-on-1, barely big enough for 2-on-2. Like,
yeah.
3-on-3 you couldn't do it; it was too small. But 2-on-2, you could have some really competitive games. And at this point, like me and my buddies weren't drinking yet. And so, like, on a Friday, we'd be like, hey, dude, let's all go over to my house. Like, we'll chip in, buy some pizzas from Little Caesars or something. And we'll have like a round robin 2-on-2 basketball tournament. Like, that was something we would do quite regularly. So this basketball court, what was the Captain America's shield made out of?
Vibranium.
Was it vibranium? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, you know how that like absorbed all energy,
Yeah.
right? Like anything hits it,
Yeah.
just think right, it just absorbs it somehow magically.
Yeah.
We had a backboard that was made of like anti-vibranium in the sense that like it would reject anything that barely touched it. Like so like if you were used to you doing bank shots or using the backboard on like a layup, like it would hit it and just tink, like just totally
Yeah.
go like it'd go over the wall. Like it was amazing. So like you had to get good at just shooting them, straight in. Um,
Oh, what was
and my
that
buddy,
movie called? Flubber.
yeah,
It was
pretty
made out of
much,
flubber.
yeah, yeah. But my buddy Chad, he had one made out of vibranium. Dude, you could throw it as hard as you wanted, and it would just go, like it would just like go straight down. It was stupid.
Oh
Uh,
shit.
so like it's half the times we play like at Chad's house, me and him like 1-on-1, or maybe we'd get a
Yeah.
2-on-2. A couple of us go over there. And other times we play at my dad's house. So like Chad would be like pretty good at his house because like he knew his backboard, he knew how to take it, and then he'd go to mine. He's like, this is fucking stupid. Like, how's it just getting like that? No. Why is it bouncing that much? But we had there was 2 concrete pads together, and they had a 2x4 in between them, right? Like that's what they used as a spacer. It wasn't water or pressure treated,
Yeah.
So this 2x4, it was probably like again like 10, 12 feet, right? It was relatively like decent size, like concrete pad. At the ends, it bowed up, right? So my dad nicknamed it the Equalizer because it would always trip people up. Dude, we had so many people who would just go and like just be dribbling, not pay attention, drag their foot a little bit, and just get clipped by it.
Oh
Like,
shit.
dude, it leveled, like it claimed everybody at one point or another. But it was a stupid name. My dad nicknamed it the Equalizer, like because it brought equal justice to everybody who played on that court. So I think that's a good way to end this video. So again, guys,
quick, what did you give the Equalizer? What was your rating for the Equalizer?
I think I said like 5, 6 out of 10. Like it's just very average. Again, if you like Denzel's character and that archetype and that, like you'll enjoy it. But it's one of those things that there's a bit of fatigue with like how much they get away with. Like the first time you watch like John Wick, you're like, oh dude, yeah. But then by the time they get to the third, fourth one, like John Wick's doing too much.
Okay.
And this one, like, I'm not going to throw any spoilers, but like it had a very awkward beginning. Like to how where it like set everything else in motion.
Yeah.
And I was like, like in my head, I was like, you know what? Like it would have been better if they would have done this, but I was like, that's also what I had in mind was like, that's more of the traditional movie path. So it's like, if you keep doing what everybody else has always done, you're never going to be innovative,
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to take your risks, and sometimes it doesn't quite land. So I think they could have done it maybe a slightly add a wrinkle here or there to really tie it together a little bit better, a little bit sooner. But again, not terrible. It just had no staying power with me. Like I just walked out and like that was it. Like, not like that Equalizer on that basketball court. That thing. If any of my buddies who once played on that court are watching, they felt that they all reached for their knee, just going like, oh yeah, I remember that. Dude, my buddy Matt Westad, blur that name, right?
We'll take care of that later.
Yeah. I don't know, but my dad nicknamed him the Viking. Like, dude was 6'5", dude, country strong. Like, never lifted weights in his life and was able to like rep 225 on bench. Like, dude was just like just naturally bigger, stronger hands. Like the dude, he was like built for football. Like, had he had a little bit more like aggression or drive, or he could have got at least a D2 scholarship probably somewhere. He was just that he had the natural gift of like 6'5" and built like a tank. Dude, the Equalizer, when they claimed him, like everybody who was just like kind of watching, because like dude, like we had a really good orange tree, so we'd be eating oranges with our dirty ass hands, like the juice. You know, when you try peeling an orange, like just the juice is like. So people were like just sitting around the court, you know, because they're gonna be playing next. And dude, when West went down, like we all felt it, just kind of like, boom, like.
That was perfect because everything just shook on your
Yeah,
screen.
cabrón, I hit my desk to do it perfectly. So. Which I can't talk about the movies and not bring up Jurassic Park. I'll bring up just a quick little stupid joke from it.
Here we go.
It has to do with the effect. Okay. You know, so when the T-Rex is coming, it's just a
Yeah.
right, and it's the water.
Yeah.
So when me and my buddies were living together in Pomona, I'm walking down the hall, and big guy, you know, like you know, like my steps, I'm making noticeable steps.
Everybody felt your presence.
It was just me and my buddy Chad in the house. Chad's lying down on the couch, and like I'm walking the living room. We're gonna watch whatever's on TV, right? And just the steps, just you know. As I sit down, my buddy Chad, like in a freaking perfect like like impression of the billionaire from Jurassic Park. He's like, "We have a T-Rex." Like, I was like, "Fuck!" Like, I can't even. That's such a good joke. Yeah, like, like what? I can't say anything back. Like, "Oh, we got a dumbass on the couch." Like, there's nothing else. Like, "Oh, you won."
There's no coming back.
Yeah, I gotta accept the L. If I try to fight it, he'll just say something different. Like, yeah. So that's and I did watch Jurassic Park. Still holds up. I'm not a fan of what. I'm not a fan of watching.
Second time you mention it.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan of watching 3D movies. Just I don't know.
Me neither. No,
I don't care for it.
No.
I'd rather watch it just than normal. But all right, man. I think we've hit the end of this runway. So if we don't leave now, it's going to be a crash and burn.
Oh shit! Yeah, thank you everybody. Again, check us out on X. Check us out on Instagram. Please subscribe to the channel. Goddamn, chipping channel. I was gonna say it in Spanish. Canal.
But
take care, everybody.
Yeah, guys, hit that like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.